Oh, that was on here?
Hot mic.
Oh, no.
Jesus Christ. Saints. Oh.
Somebody's got the video playing in the background. Rookie mistake.
Oh. Coming in hot.
Mm-hmm. Hot shot.
And we're back. What's going on, everyone? It's your boy, Boner Jams, and Jay at 7 over 8.
You don't have one of these yet, do you?
No, you son of a bitch.
I gotta
send me anything yet.
Yeah, I think that was my mission from last month my assignment was to send you one, and I dropped the ball. Hopefully by October's show, be able to do it.
Good.
Yep.
Good. You better get on it. Best month of the year, right?
For you?
Hell yeah. Let's get it going. Let's get it going, Johnny. We got a lot to get to tonight. If you want to bring up our music sponsors. Here we go. We got Green Charles, Joe Christian, Thomas Santiago, Music Therapy Laz, Mike Neese, Michael Smith, David
Captain,
Steve Carmichael.
Steve Carmichael.
Become a channel member. Click the join button. It's there. Just touch it. Do it quickly.
Wait,
that's all we got. I think we're missing some people.
Well, those are the ending people.
Okay.
The executive producers. Like
they didn't make the cut for the beginning.
Those dudes. Yeah, that's one of the perks. Is if you're a top tier member, you get a shout out right in the beginning.
Well, they got to step up their game. Let's go, guys.
Yeah, and look at this. I got the John BL feature where it's just a voice.
Look at that, Satan. Well, since you did the intro, which I never like to do,
whoa.
I'll run through the roll call real quick, if I may.
Do it.
We got people still coming in hot, by the way. I'm the first name on the list here. I like that. Amanda Coombs is here. Thank you for sharing on Instagram and spreading the word. Ben Tom, Boner Jams, Bruce Poinsett. Sorry if I screwed your name up. Cameron Brown, all the way from Scotland. Awesome. He got a new guitar today. And Johnny, he might be showing up on Friday to show off his new Sir. But we'll see. We'll see about that.
Nice.
Hope he doesn't send it back like some people.
Like somebody else, Chris Bevan, Shiloh Luca, Dace Yates.
My man Shy.
David Ennis. Deja Voodoo, Duke 4077, Eduardo Marino Porto. My beautiful wife, Jeannie, is downstairs. She's watching the chat.
What's up, Jeannie?
And 2 kids. James Gum, Jimmy Bitter, Johnny Beane, Kenko Dor, Kurt Hines, Les Mancuda, Mark E. Metal Jr., Mark Effects, Mega Beardo, who is going to be joining us tonight. Thomas Santiago, Thrash Metal and Fun Riffs, Vistalite 1972. And everybody else, people are still rolling in. We got 51 watching right now, but that number jumps up significantly over the next few minutes.
It's going to be a couple thousand soon.
Yeah, a couple thousand. So anyway, we got some cool stuff tonight. We got I know
we got a lot to get to. Ooh, James Gum. Sorry. James Chicle, I should say. Thank you. That's very nice of you.
James, you just paid for StreamYard for the month of Rocktober, man.
Look at that. Rocktober. So we're going to be getting to some cool stuff tonight. Brian Boner Jams wanted to talk about maybe a little comparison between some Pantera albums and some Metallica albums. Do like a 1 through 5 versus a 1 through 5.
Yes.
And I know the guys from Byzantine who are going to be coming here in a few minutes they might want to sprinkle some Megadeth in there, because for you, those of you who don't know, they just released, and we'll talk about this when they get here, but last week they released a video of Tornado of Souls with them using the drum tracks that Nick Menza recorded before he passed away. And it's believed that was the last thing that Nick ever recorded. So we'll get into the details of that. And obviously towards the end, we'll put the link in the video or in the chat to go check out the video and all that good stuff. But Brian, don't you want to get to something first before we get to that?
Yeah, let's do it. New album just dropped. Yeah, just popped and dropped. The new Deftones album came out on Friday. So I said last month that we were going to do a quick review of the album, give our thoughts. And so we'll start with that. And then we got some guys waiting that we want to bring on. And we'll talk about a few things. So we got a jam-packed show. So let's get to it. Jay.
Well, you want my opinion of or yours first?
No, yours first, man.
All right. So
age before beauty. Let's go.
Oh man, it's hot in here. I'm gonna have to turn the AC up in a minute.
Do it.
I got this light pumping right at me.
What's your thoughts? What do you think? First impression.
To start out with, I haven't been the biggest Deftones fan since after Around the Fur.
Right.
Adrenaline and Around the Fur, I think it's like their first two albums, which are awesome.
Right.
And then since then, I feel like it's kind of, it's just maybe my musical taste have changed a little bit, which, it happens, right?
Right.
But I haven't really listened to much of them over the past, maybe even 15 years. So Brian asked me to do just listen to the album, check it out, let it know what I thought. I listened to 5 songs, and I'll say this. The music is really, really good. I love it. Sorry, I don't love it. I like it a lot. I think the mix is phenomenal. I know who mixed it. I just can't remember his name at this point, and I apologize. I should have taken some kind of notes, but I don't.
Terry Date?
Did Terry Date mix it?
I don't know. Well, I know he produced it. I don't know he mixed it. I didn't go that far. I'm not into production as much as you are.
Oh, sorry. Well, the mix is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I wish they would release an instrumental version of the album. That's just my personal opinion. At track 1, I feel like the vocals came in, they were fine. And then once the chorus hits, it almost sounds like he's singing in a different key in the chorus. Like it was really just like making me go, what is he singing there? And a lot of it gets a little monotonous with the breathy stuff and that kind of thing. But the music, I love the music. In my opinion, it's a great hanging out on the back porch in the summertime, hanging out with some friends and just having it kind of on. It's not, overly crazy. And, there's not a lot of like chaos going on.
Sure.
But that's just my opinion. And like I said, I only got 5 songs in. I did like it.
Did you listen to the song that I've been raving about?
Yeah, I would prefer an instrumental version, personally.
Could you tell why I like that song so much?
I didn't listen to song 9. I forgot.
Jesus Christ.
Next month.
All
right, let's get to your review. I know you like it.
I love it. I'm loving it so much. It's Deftones. There's some stuff like on out of 10 boners, I'm gonna give it a 9.
I like that. That's pretty good.
I thought it was really good. I can go on and I can rave about how good it is. My only issue, I have one issue, is their songs are pretty heavy, and then it gets melodic, which is cool. But there's times I want to go balls deep. I just want to go balls deep the whole song. So Radiant City, that's probably the only song on there that's pretty heavy throughout. Fantastic chorus. Some songs that are just great is the first song, Genesis, the synth intro. Since I love 80s music. So if you guys don't know,
I like that.
I love me some 80s music. Love me 80s music, like New Order, Depeche Mode, like new wave stuff. Love it. I don't know why. I grew up with it. My mom force fed it to me, so I love it. So the synth stuff is great. It's like very atmospheric. But then when the low end of the 8 string kicks in, damn. So the low end kicks in, I kick in my pants. It's on, I love it. And I love Chino's voice. I do. I think it's great, especially, that song when he gets to like the chorus, it's awesome. His voice does change. And the key does change, but I think it's cool. And it's just the effects, the production's great.
Production is great.
A few other songs that really stuck out. Ceremony, the second song, is real good, real melodic. It's really good. So it's 10 songs on the album. The bottom 5 of the album, to me, are better than the first 5. So like Pompeii, fantastic song. Radiant City is great. Ohms, the last song of the album, I think is real good. Even though I can play that whole song on a standard tuning 6 string, even though he's playing a 9, which I don't understand. But hey, whatever works. But my favorite song on the album is Headless. So everyone needs to check it out. It's fantastic. It's the low end kicks in and damn, it is real good. The chorus is fantastic. It might be one of my top 5 all time Deftones songs. Like I'm listening to it all the time.
Wow.
And it's tough to like pick one song that's like my favorite from a band, but definitely Korea from White Pony is my favorite Deftones song. But that's here nor there. But hands down, that's my favorite Deftones song. But that's,
so you give it 9 out of 10 boners?
9 out of 10 boners. It's gets me pretty hard. I love it.
Or would it be 9 out of 10 inches?
that too. I can only wish I could be that big. But anyway, but 9 out of 10 boners, I think is pretty good. And in the chat, if anyone else has listened to the album, let me know what you think. Let Jay know. Give me your boner review. We appreciate it. But I think it's time. We got some people waiting that we need to talk about a little Megadeth cover. What do you think? Should we bring him in?
Psst, psst, bring him in. If you're there, bring him in. Oh,
there he is.
He just comes in light and hot.
What's going on there?
What's up, boys? How you
Still
doing?
can't stop playing that Tornado Souls solo.
Still playing. I played it so much it's engraved in my brain. I can't get rid of it, man.
We're definitely going to talk about that because I wanted to ask you what was the most challenging part of that solo, but we'll get there.
Yeah,
So
we'll get there.
we got Brian and we got Ryan, or we got Hendo and we got Mega Beardo.
Yeah. My beard is a little less mega. I had to get it trimmed last week.
Oh.
And then we went and the family, we got hired to shoot a commercial for the West Virginia lottery. So we had to go out of town and I had like a makeup artist and she trimmed my beard. So it's like 2 inches shorter than it was.
Wait, no. So what was there any like perks to shooting this? Like, are you guaranteed to win the lottery or something?
No.
For life.
No, we got paid. They put us up in a cabin at the state Blackwater Falls State Park for 3 days.
AK Motel 6. I love it.
Oh man, it was nice. We had to do like the hiking scene and the picnic scene with the fake grandfather, and it was wild, dude. It was the first time shooting a commercial, but it was fun. It was cool.
I know that has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about tonight, but how does one get into a commercial for the lottery of West Virginia? Like, please.
Well, the lottery was looking for a family that to do their fall promotion, and they saw our family pictures on Facebook, our beach pictures. We just went on vacation, and they contacted my wife, and we're like, "We think you guys would be perfect for this. What do you think? Would you guys be interested?" Now they came and met me at work and gave me all the lowdown. And yes, we would definitely be interested. So that's how it happened. Pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it worked out well.
Wow.
Well, it was a metal show.
Yeah, sorry, that's pretty lame.
So, we got a comment already asking you about your guitar, Robot Master Switch. I need to know about that too because we haven't talked in a while.
No, we haven't, dude.
Because you saw that I had a new guitar back here.
Mm-hmm.
I saw pictures from your guys' video shoot. Let's let's discuss that thing real quick before we get too into it.
Okay, so this is my new Solar.
Oh no, it's
there we go.
Oh.
There we go.
It's like the Brady Bunch moving all around.
Maybe 2 weeks ago, I got added as I'm now a featured artist with Solar. It's Ola company from The Haunted, and yeah, I got this right before we recorded the Megadeth video, and I got to record the solo with it and do the video with it. And I have to say, this is a rad guitar, man. I'm really digging it. It's called Blood Matte Red, 24 frets, stainless steel. It's got this custom Solar Duncan, I guess Ola Designi's pickups, and they sound really cool. Lumen lay dots, glow in the dark dots. The neck, the carve on the back is super cool. You can get way up there. I'm really digging it. So yeah, I just signed with Solar, and I'm here to rep this guitar. And
wow,
man, it's cool.
It looks amazing, man. It really does. Man.
My wife made total fun of it when she saw it. She thought it was pink and it looked like an 80s like Poison guitar, but it is red, I assure you. It's big.
Well, when your wife makes fun of something, that usually means it's kind of cool.
That's right.
Isn't that what it is?
Exactly.
So, Ryan, I know for the Megadeth cover, you didn't you use a Dave Ellefson Jackson? We got to see it.
I did, yeah. It's right here. Yeah, I actually got this a few months ago. This is the cheapo CBX4, obviously in silver. But yeah, actually, I had this kind of on my mind to get, and then Hendo randomly shot me a text. He's like, "Hey, man, I found one of these for like $400 on Reverb." I was like, "Well, all right," that kind of sealed that deal. So I grabbed it, and it came perfectly set up, and I recorded the Tornado of Souls bass track with it, and it sounds killer, and I love it.
It really does sound good because for those of you watching, we'll talk about the song, but I mixed it, and when I got sent the DI track for his bass guitar, I was like, "Yeah, it
became my main biz bass now, I think." Wow. So
isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? When is that in a Mexican or is that an Indonesian? What is it?
I want to say it's Indonesian.
Isn't that crazy when an Indonesian instrument takes over as like your main?
Dude, as soon as he put it in, and I was like, "Oh my god, that thing sounds great."
The exact tone that we kind of needed for our sound too. I'd been working with I had a Schecter Apocalypse C4 that I got whenever I first joined Byzantine, and it's a nice bass, but it just doesn't have the sound that we were looking for. And then when I first plugged this guy in at our practice, must have been back, it was before the pandemic hit, so it was probably back in February, and like the first song, it's like, okay, yep, this is it, this is the one.
Wow.
Perfect.
No upgrades or anything? You didn't swap out the tuners, the pickups? Nope. It's just stock?
It's all stock.
Wow, that's great.
All stock, yeah.
Man.
I love signature models. Love them.
What happened?
I love signature models.
I do too, man. I do too.
His USA ones are quite pricey. I think also sending you a link. There's a guitar shop I'm a member of out in Wisconsin.
Oh yeah.
he had a black Dave Ellefson concert USA, and it was like $39.99 or something like that, dude.
Yeah,
like, it's $4,000. Like, nope.
And the one actually owned by Ellefson.
It was. I think he actually owned it. He did.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, that makes sense then, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's weird. It's like when I see Megadeth guitars or whatever, bass is like the silver is definitely the color that I think of with Ellefson. You know?
Absolutely.
And even Mustaine, like you go back to
he played the Silver Jackson King V.
Yeah,
man.
And then Friedman with the black
Kelly. The
Kelly,
yeah.
So,
weird, man. He was a single hum player. I never could, understand why you'd want to do that. Limit yourself. Marty Friedman, I guess he can do that. He doesn't need 2 pickups. He does 1. Waste everybody.
He doesn't need any pickup.
No, he doesn't need it.
So Brian, why did you decide to cover Tornado of Souls? Why that song?
Oh, well, and Jay can probably give some background on this too. I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, when we were recording the tracks for the last Byzantine record, at the end, OJ had to go and cut the good rhythm tracks for Tornado of Souls. It was supposed to appear on a tribute album, I think, Jay, a Menza tribute album.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, that never came to be because unfortunately he passed away just like 8 months later. So we had all these tracks just in the bank, and I guess at some point Nick Menza's manager contacted OJ and was like, "Hey man, Nick became a really big fan of your band, and I've got all these songs that Nick went and redid from Megadeth, tons of them, and it would be cool if you guys could take one and re-record it and see what happens with it." And OJ's like, "Of course, we've already got Tornado of Souls, the rhythm tracks done. We'll go ahead and knock the rest of it out." And I think when originally he recorded it, he told me I wanted to play the solo, and he told me somebody else had already lined up to do it, and I was so mad. I was like, "Right, man, no." So I'd set myself down and made that solo is so hard to play for me because there's a lot of stuff that's not how I play, and
not how most people play.
It's so weird.
That's hard for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I was disappointed, but 4 years later, here comes my turn. I had to relearn it, and it worked out great, man. I think it turned out really good. I was really proud of that.
It definitely did. Yeah, and kind of back to what you were saying. I think I got a phone call or a text from OJ maybe a few months ago saying, "Hey, do you still have those tracks from me and OJ were calling it Tornado of Menza." And that's how it's kind of titled and stuff in the Pro Tool session. He's like, "Do you still have those tracks?" And I said, "Hold on, I'm sitting at the computer right now." So I pulled it up, everything loaded right up, and I said, "I got them."
Yeah.
So then I guess everything kind of fell into place, and all the other stuff's behind the scenes. But once you guys started sending me everything with because like you said, I had the drum tracks already done, I had the rhythm guitars.
Mm-hmm.
So then, how did it go into deciding who does the vocals, who does the backing vocals? Your drummer doesn't do anything because the drum tracks, but he's good at that. He's good at not doing anything, so he was probably fine, right?
He's got packages to deliver with FedEx, man. He's busy. But well, I guess OJ, of course, I was going to do the solo. He approached me, and I told him I wanted to sing it. And I think maybe a week later, he's like, "Hey, man, why don't you let Ryan sing it, man? Because you've got a lot on your plate with this solo." And my response was, "Fuck that."
I'm glad that was your response too.
Ryan can sing really well. He's an awesome singer, but that's my favorite Megadeth song. I've sang that song so many times, and there was no way anybody's going to sing that but me. No offense to anybody in the band, but I was going to sing that song come hell or high water, and yeah, that's
you definitely knocked it out of the park, man. Like when I got the vocal tracks, because I'll listen through my phone. It's like I should usually load them into Pro Tools and listen to them in context with everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I listened on my phone, just the isolated vocals, and I was like, "Holy crap! Ooh, I like that. You really did a really, really good job."
I mean, I guess I've spent Megadeth's one of my favorite bands ever, and I've mimicked his little singing out of the side of his mouth thing and through his teeth. That's how he sounds, and I kind of try to mimic a little bit of that. And I've done it my whole life. So I think what you hear in that song is like one whole take from beginning to end. I think it was the third take we did, if I'm not mistaken. And it just, I had so much fun recording that. And every time it would get to that classic drum fill, like we got chills, because it's freaking Nick Menza, man. It's not, it's not our drummer. It's not some other jerk in his mom's basement. It's freaking Nick Menza doing that, dude. And it was just a weird, cutting vocal tracks with that guy posthumously, but it was still a really cool experience.
Definitely.
Yeah. When OJ sent me those tracks, like whenever he first talked to me about it, he's like, "Hey, here's a brief history of this track and where we're at with it, but lay down some bass on this." And I just loaded those up onto my DAW, and I listened to those isolated drum tracks, and I was just like, "Holy crap!" So weird and like just surreal.
It
absolutely
is
surreal. Yeah.
Did you ever remember when we were doing the Cicada Tree sessions? You had the raw tracks of Dave Mustaine's guitar rhythm tracks,
Mhm.
and we were in there listening to them, and it was so wild to listen to that. Like, what the hell? It was so cool.
It's very cool. So as far as the bass goes, Ryan, have you kind of played that song before, or was it something you had to kind of like? I mean, obviously you know how the song goes.
Yeah.
But,
That was it was the song that I learned the main riff of years ago on guitar. But I'd never really played bass much before I joined Byzantine. So I was primarily just a rhythm guitar player. So everything I knew from playing guitar, I've been able to like bring over the bass. But obviously, there's some different bass parts in that do not follow the rhythm tracks at all. So especially that part near the end where he does that ascending run all the way up to the neck. So so a lot of that I had to learn, but the main bones of that main riff and the chorus I had down already. So
Nice.
just a matter of tightening it up, because it's a really sort of, it sounds simple, but once you kind of break it down, it's not a particularly straightforward sort of riff.
and are you more of a I'm assuming you are, but a lot of the down picking, are you really percussive with that, or are you?
I am. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm come from the sort of like Jason Newsted style of just beating the hell out of your bass.
Mhm.
So yeah, and I know OJ was just like, we got 2 weeks, so let's just get our wrist ready and make sure we can down pick this whole thing. So
I've seen them play it live, in the last few years, and they're not down picking that thing.
oh yeah, it's all
He's not.
all alternate picking, but
Yeah. And they're playing it a whole step down now. All the Megadeth stuff,
Yeah.
D standard, not E standard.
yeah, I was checking out just random live videos of it after we finished, and like there's that one from like 1991 or whatever, Rock in Rio, where they're just all coked up and playing 250 BPM and
Hauling ass.
oh my god, it's insane. And Menza is just like speeding up at the end, and Marty can't keep up. It's so good. And now in like 2016, they've got that when they did the was it the Vic and the Rattleheads they came out as at like Saint Vitus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all like tuned down a whole step, and it just gives it a different flavor.
When you guys recorded this, because that song's tuned standard, so did you you did it standard as well, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, we did it in standard tuning. Yeah. Luckily, my voice is still high enough. I can still get up there. I don't know if it's last, but I can still hit those notes. Thank goodness.
That's definitely a thing. I mean, I understand why a lot of these bands, especially as they get older, they have to, tune it down, because in the studio, you're not thinking about playing songs live. You're thinking about playing them in the studio and getting them to sound the best that they can be.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand, a lot of bands will still record in standard or whatever their normal tuning is, and then when they get on the road, playing night after night, a lot of these guys' voices, they can't handle it.
No.
Yeah.
So I understand why, but what do you guys feel? I mean, I already know the answer, but I mean, I remember when Metallica, I guess somewhere in the beginning of the Black Album tour, they started tuning down a half step.
They did.
And I remember hearing Enter Sandman, and I was like, wait a minute. And this is when I was younger too. And I remember hearing like, wait a second. That song, it doesn't like, if a song is recorded in one tuning and then played at a different tuning, somewhere along the lines, I think the magic gets lost. I'm laughing at a comment. Jimmy, the drummer in my band, is asking what size my neck is. So
I got a big neck.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like when I hear a cover of a song, I got to hear it in the same tuning. That's just my opinion. How do you guys feel about that?
I think so. I remember seeing Megadeth, and maybe the first time I caught him playing Holy Wars, the first riff, and it was in D, and I was like, whoa, that sounds weird.
Doesn't sound right. Yeah.
But I guess you get accustomed to it throughout the show, and you kind of, just accept it and go with it, and you're like, okay.
Yeah. I think it depends. Like if it's a band covering another song, I think it depends on the band that's doing the covering. Like I'm not going to expect like a sludge metal band to cover Pantera and keep it in, what did they do? Like E flat, like a couple cents sharper or something, something weird.
I don't know. I'd put in a Pantera. I'm like, I'm going to learn some Pantera today, and nothing was in tune ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Now, was that the actual tuning, or I know sometimes back in the day they used to like change the speed of the tape?
Yeah,
when they send it in,
that might have been it. Yeah, because just to fit on either a record, because I've got like Metallica files from like different vinyl pressings and stuff, and like the Ride the Lightning especially was like just a little sharp, I think, on the latest pressing, maybe.
I remember trying to learn Fade to Black when I was younger, and I was like, I kept thinking my guitar was out of tune. Wait a minute, and then I'd tune it, and then I'd play something else, and it was out of tune again. I'm like, wait a minute, something's happening.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have to grab another beer. I'll be right back.
Do it. Yeah, I remember the first time I heard Metallica play Seek and Destroy and D, like a whole step down. I was just like, oh, this doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, a certain band, I guess, that's used to playing super low. But I remember my wife was listening to some this was years ago, and one band that she liked covered a Bon Jovi song, like Living on a Prayer or something. It was like on some compilation CD that she had. And it was tuned down, and it just instantly didn't sound like just right. And I understand not many people can sing that high. Like John Bon Jovi was able to back in the mid 80s.
Yeah.
But it just didn't sound right. Like at that point, if I'm the band, hey, look who's coming in here.
I got you a beer.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
What's going on?
It's my son, Colin.
Hey, Colin. I see your. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I was gonna say, how do you feel about your dad taking your kiss guys? Whatever.
What's that? He wants to be a YouTuber, so he's like, oh, I gotta get in there, Dad. Like, you want to get in there? I'm like, bring me a beer.
Good man.
Does he still play that Paul Gilbert guitar you got?
Yeah, he's got a PGM, the micro Paul Gilbert. I got him a little micro Marshall stack he's got in there, and he's got a electronic kit right on my left shoulder here that he jams on too. So,
look at that.
That's right. Heck yeah.
Just look at that. And the real stuff.
Sweet. That is really cool.
That's a regret that I have. I was gonna buy it, and I was like, I can't right now. Brian, do you want to buy this? You'll buy it.
Yep.
That is really cool.
Yeah, Jay and I discuss guitars all the time. It's like, I want this guitar, but I don't know if I should buy it now. I'm like, I will.
So, how about recording the video? Unless Brian has any more questions about, or Boner Jams has any more questions about the recording or whatever of the song.
No, I don't have any additional. It's a great song. Guys did a great job. The video is great.
Thank you.
The video is good.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna ask about Holly. I know Holly from what's the company? I apologize to her.
What do you mean, Butterfly Entertainment? Yeah.
She did a great job with the continuity of having the footage that was sent to her from Nick's management, right?
Right.
And then tying it into like what you guys, the look of you, all the footage together, which I think she did a phenomenal job with it.
Yeah.
She did. Yeah.
When she came in, this kick-ass 4K camera, and the first run through we saw, we were 2 4K. It's like, man, whoa, So we had to we watched it, and it was a little too crisp compared to what Nick's footage looked like. So we had her put a VHS filter on it, which kind of toned it down a little bit and made it match up really well. But yeah, she did a really good job. Ryan looks by far the coolest in that, with his hair whipping around and freaking.
Mentioned it to him before. He looked great.
Appreciate it.
I think I had to sing the song. When you're doing those videos, I had to sing it like really loud, like project it, because you can tell if you're not singing it. And I blew my voice out singing the video, like doing the video. Like by the end, I could barely talk because I was like screaming. So like singing it so hard, trying to get that emotion out there. And I was done, man.
Wow.
Yeah, when the last take, I remember you're like, "This is my last one. I can't do it anymore."
I can't do it anymore, man. Yeah, shooting videos is tough. It's like grueling. Like,
Well, how many different? Because every angle you have to do a whole playthrough, right?
Yeah, I think
How was it set up?
I think I did at least 5 takes, at least 5 full playthroughs of it.
I think you did 5, and then OJ and I did 4.
Okay, yeah. So and I had to work that night, so I got to leave. So by the time OJ got done, we probably played that song 20 times.
Yeah.
But I'll never get tired of that song. I never ever will get tired of that album or that song. It's
So Hendo, you're a huge Megadeth fan, right?
yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So how does it feel to have Nick Menza just to drum on the song? Like, how cool is that?
I guess I've had other people, some friends and my wife, and they're like, "Do you realize what you guys just did?" And I'm
Right.
like, yeah. I mean, I guess when you're always involved in it, it doesn't seem like maybe somebody else would look at it, but it is. I mean, I remember being a kid when that came out, and I was 13, and looking at that. When I think of Megadeth, I think of that back picture on Rust in Peace of those 4 guys, with their flannels on, their cool hair hanging there, and Dave looking all pissed off. And that's when somebody says Megadeth, that's the picture that I see in my head from that album. And to think that 30 years later, I'm playing with this dude. I'm nobody. I'm from West Virginia. It's just really cool, man. It's an honor. It's an honor that Nick's sister, was cool with it, and his manager was cool with it, and I mean that's definitely a feather in the cap to see you got to play with somebody in Megadeth. I mean, I don't know what else to do. Maybe James Hetfield will want to jam with us or something down the road. That'd be right. You can only go for that's. Where else can you go?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's hear Ryan's.
My take on it. Well, kind of like Hendo, like Rust in Peace was my first Megadeth album that I had. So, middle school, hadn't even started playing guitar yet, but just like listening to that album all the time, and I still to this day, like I listened to it again on the 30th anniversary a few days ago. I'm just like, man, this record just still sounds so good. It's just such an incredibly, like, I don't know, just the sound of it is very pleasing to my ears. But yeah, like just always looking at the back of that CD and seeing them and just thinking now, I'm like, if I could only go back in time to my middle school self and say, just wait, a couple decades, it's going to get kind of rad. Something cool is going to happen, and it's going to blow your mind. I don't know, just that thought was kind of cool. So, just very surreal experience.
No, that's awesome.
It definitely is cool, and what you guys are talking about with how great the song is. I guess being able to mix it is kind of neat for me, because especially when the performance is so great and the your guys' version of it is so good, where I should have been done with mixing it faster, except I caught myself just sitting here listening to it, like over and over again, just like certain parts.
Right.
Like you mentioned the drum fill, like coming out of that, and like it's only Nick, like you talked about.
Yeah.
Like that kind of like is a goosebump part where it's like, kind of like when you stand back and just kind of take yourself out of it and look in it. But it's really cool, man. I can't even discuss or explain how cool it was to be able to not only record the rhythm guitars, but just to mix the whole thing and kind of put Nick's stamp, on it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It all culminated with the 30th anniversary. It just all happened at the right time, at the right moment. And it's really special. I mean, 20, 25 years down the road, I'm an old man. I can, pop that in. Oh, man, remember that?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
We peaked, and it's all been down from there.
Well, let's hope not.
Yeah.
Let's hope, because I know you guys have, something starting pretty soon.
We do.
Unless OJ didn't discuss it with you guys, he just discussed it with me.
No, he did. Yeah. No, I think we're all on the same page.
Yeah, I guess we're doing an EP at some point soon. You
Yep.
know.
Yep.
So,
are we allowed to say what's on the EP?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean,
Who's producing it?
yeah.
More importantly.
I know we're doing some cover tunes, but I'm not. Probably shouldn't say what, but I know we're doing a couple cover tunes.
Yeah. A couple covers.
Yeah.
Original stuff.
But I am ready to start writing some new music, man. I'm just, I'm ready. I'm ready to start writing riffs and for to start writing riffs. It's
Same
time,
here.
man. It's time.
And you got some new instruments that usually can pump some stuff out of you.
It does.
Yeah, that helps. Really does. It really helps.
The wives don't understand that, but I'm telling you, man, nothing makes you want to write riffs like getting a new guitar or a new amp.
Yeah.
Or a new girl. No, I'm joking.
That's
I hope Jeannie's not watching this anymore. So Brian, I don't know if you have anything else on that topic.
This Brian.
Boner Jam, sorry, Boner.
Yeah.
Boner.
No, looking forward to something new from you guys. Be great.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to get OJ to do a full length, but he has it set to do the EP, and I get it.
It's a big commitment to do a full album, especially now, dude. I mean, why even with everything that's going on, you can't tour and support it.
Yeah.
Why put out a full length right now? You're just going to sit on it. I mean,
dude.
Yeah.
I 100% agree, and there's a lot of opinions, especially nowadays with full length albums, and I know, us four, and I bet a lot of people in the chat, they're from the old school of like a full length album. I was always like, if a band put out an EP, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but sometimes if a band put out an EP, I'm like, oh man, it feels like it's not enough. Like I need more.
Right.
And sometimes that's a good thing, but I love full length albums. And I know, since kind of like, the internet started killing music and a lot of that stuff, like a lot of it is just singles or EPs. How do you guys feel about that?
If it wasn't for COVID and the ability not to play shows, I would be all for putting out an album as soon as possible. But if you put something out, it's just going to disappear in a few weeks because you can't go support it. You can't do anything with it. I mean, it'll have a 2 week shelf life and go on to the next thing. So I mean, maybe something at this point, something short and sweet, because people's attention spans are very short.
Not sweet.
To get the point across.
Are you writing anything already?
What's that?
Are you writing anything for the new album?
Well, no. I guess we're in EP mode, so we're not really writing anything. Maybe I'll just get some stuff away. But
write some right now. Let's hear that good stuff.
Are we supposed to be answering questions that we see in the chat, or
we can? I just are you have the chat up?
No, I was just like scanning, and somebody asked me how long did it take to learn the Tornado Soul solo.
That's Jimmy. That's the Gizmachi drummer.
Oh shit! Okay, all right, man. Right on, Jimmy.
He's probably going to ask you for lessons. So tell him it took you 3 years to learn it.
Well, keep in mind I'd learned it a few years ago, so I kind of had the framework of it. But here before we did the video shoot, I think I woodshedded it for like 2 weeks. So it wasn't as bad the second time since I already knew sort of how to play it, but I had to get my technique back because Marty plays so strange. And it's so fast. It's 198 beats per minute or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
I was barely hanging on for life, trying to sending stuff. You just close your eyes and I hope it happens. And that's what we ended up catching stuff that just happened. And it wasn't perfect by any means, but
Well, what's the hardest part of that solo?
The hardest part for me is the arpeggio before the really super fast pedal lick. That's that's like total opposite of how I play. I play more linear because the guys that I loved growing up were Joe Satriani and Adrian Smith, guys that constructed these melodies over, sweep picking. And so it's kind of, I didn't start playing like that. So I never kind of evolved my technique in doing that. So that I struggle with that lick a lot. It took a lot of takes and we had to like piece it together a little bit, but the rest of the stuff wasn't too bad, but that lick gave me some trouble. It really did. So I was glad I got it done. Like, let's move on.
What's the easiest part?
The easiest one are the crazy bends that he does. I love how he does that. He plays. It's almost like he's playing a wrong note. I half step down and he'll bend up into the correct note. I love how he does that. I've got a practice thing where I do that. It just sounds so exotic. But the rest of it didn't really get much trouble. But that one lick, man, there's a Byzantine lick that's just like that in Forged in the Heart of a Dying Star. And to this day, I'm like, we're not playing that song because I can't play that solo. He played it. I just like threw my hands up in the middle of the song. I'm like, yeah, I'll come back in when the rhythm starts. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the first songs we jammed on whenever I joined.
Oh, it's so tough. It is so hard to play.
It's a really tough song. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Because I know that OJ gave me a list of songs that you guys, I guess when they tried you out, or you tried them out, Ryan, however you want to look at it. Because I think I sent you. Did I send you, or did I just send OJ like the did I send isolated bass tracks to you?
You sent me a couple isolated from Cicada Tree. So I got like Kyle Maxim and I think New Ways maybe. Which we also stopped playing New Ways to Bear Witness pretty quickly too. Yeah, I think those are the only bass tracks I got from you.
Because I know that the old bass player Sean, he played with his fingers, you play with your pick, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there is a different thing. So if I guess the isolated bass tracks definitely helped out.
Yes, they did. Yeah, it's I did the best I could just listening by ear to the actual track, but even like jamming with the guys the first couple times, OJ would pick out like a single note. He's like, nope, one fret up. There you go. Like, all right, cool. But,
he's a stickler, that guy.
He is, yeah. And there was like, I learned how to play the first Byzantine record on guitar years and years ago. That one and Serpents, I knew mostly on guitar rhythm stuff. And like there was I thought I knew Hatfield in my sleep, and there was like a single, and the song's all in C, and there's a single C sharp stab in between one of the riffs that I never heard in my life. And OJ's like, you got the song down like 99.5%, but it's just that one note you keep messing up. Like, okay, I've been playing that wrong for 15 years. Okay.
Now, when you played it the right way, were you like, oh yeah, okay, or were you like,
really? it made complete sense then. Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah.
Hendo, we have a question from Robot Master Switch. In regards to your tunings, do you guys tune drop C or drop C sharp?
Drop C for most stuff, and then we have quite a few D standard tunes. So drop C and D standard, the only thing we do.
Okay.
Wait a second, you guys don't have any standard E?
No.
Really?
Nope. No. D standard, man. No standard.
Maybe I was trying to get OJ to write. No,
I've never played a song in E with these guys ever.
No.
Wow.
The Megadeth song. That's it. That is it, man.
Where is OJ tonight?
I don't know. He's at home, I guess. Who knows?
He canceled about an hour before, so Ryan was gracious enough to say, "Hey, I'll fill in."
Yeah, man.
I'll be OJ for an hour.
just an hour though.
Yeah.
No longer than that. Robot Master Switch says he asked in the chat about should he get a 7-string or skip it and go for an 8?
Stay with 6. How about that?
7.
I would personally say,
yeah,
this is my opinion. I think 8 is too much. I mean, a lot of the bands that are using the 8-string guitars, it's hard not to sound like Meshuggah when you're doing those single note riffs, playing on that 8th string. I mean, what is it tuned to? G sharp? What is it?
I think it's like F sharp, isn't it?
It would,
F sharp.
Or at least I've known some bands that use 8 strings that tune to F sharp. I'll at least say that much.
Yeah. But you can't even play chords, so you have to do a single string because this is going to be like.
Yeah, it's going to sound like a lot of.
Yeah.
It'll be F sharp.
No, I say 7. I'm a big fan of 7 strings. I started playing them like 10 years ago, and I throw that sucker in drop A, and I have a lot of fun that way. I cannot see myself doing much with an 8. Like you said, like an 8 string, I hear that and it's like, oh, Meshuggah. That's the only band that's going to. I'm going to associate an 8 string with.
Ryan, are you drop tuning a 7 string to drop A, or are you just tuning
drop
everything?
A?
Drop A. Oh, wow. Okay.
Just drop A. Yep. I'm not sure why I started doing that. Just when I first got one, I was writing a lot of stuff with it, and just decided to drop it down to A. I think I was writing a song in A. I'm like, well, I'll just drop it down, and it just kind of stayed there. Yeah.
Yeah. One of my 7 strings is standard tuning, but drop down a step to A. So like Korn, everything they do is tuned to A, standard.
Yeah.
Tuning.
Weird. Zach Wild has that Black Label tuning where it's in standard, but the top string's in B. So your octaves on the 2nd fret.
Right.
So like all those songs are played on 1 string anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I think Mastodon does something similar too, where they'll drop their 6th string down to A, and then get super low.
Yeah, it's kind of like the whatchamacallit, Good Enough from Van Halen. Eddie swaps out the low E for a bass A string, doesn't he?
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Interesting.
Come on, you didn't know this is a Van Halen channel?
No, this is not.
Well, this is a non-Van Halen show. Wrong night.
Yeah.
All right. That's Fridays.
No, but Mastodon they tune generally to drop C, but then the C will go to an A. So like a March of the Fire Ants or Iron Tusk or some of the heavier stuff has got that. So it is pretty interesting.
I know Bill Kelleher has gone to using a Helix like I do. I'm pretty sure live, from what I've seen.
Oh, is he now? Nice.
He's a good guy. He has his own Friedman amp, but I think he's using the Friedman model live for travel purposes. I don't know.
What's he going to get?
Oh, he's got a guitar.
Oh, here we
go.
go.
I know what he's getting. I'm not going to ruin it. It's really cool. If you're a Mastodon fan, you'll dig it.
ESP over there. I saw the.
Love Mastodon. Oh, yeah. Let me see that.
Yeah.
Bring it out.
Take it out.
Take it out. Oh.
Boy,
Hold it there for a second. Oh, okay. I'm good.
Zip. This is a pretty sweet guitar. I bought it for no real purpose other than just kind of having to jam Mastodon songs on. I saw it one day. I'm like, it's cheap on Reverb. I got it for like 80%. That's usual price or something. And I was like, yeah, it comes with a hard shell case. Yeah, you got me. I'm good. So
let me see that headstock nice and slow, please. There it is.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What is it? Sparrowhawk? Is that what it's called?
Sparrowhawk, yeah.
Tell me everything about it. Hurry up.
Fuck. I mean, you've got these lace pickups that are really nice, really sharp. And I'm not really a gearhead much, so I don't know the ins and outs of everything. But these pickups are split, so you can your push-pull knobs. You can get a single coil sound out of it if you want to. It's like I'm more of like a Les Paul and SG type of feel, and this has that sort of neck shape that I like, so feels real good. Yeah, I love it, and it's really easy to riff on, which is what I kind of wanted out of it. So I'll probably keep it in the Byzantine tuning of drop C and D standard, and do a lot of the writing with that.
That's awesome.
Wow. That's cool, man. Real quick, let's do a little station identification. Please, thumbs up, like the show, like the channel, share everything.
Like it
See
all.
a lick, a thumbs up for a lick. All right, let's get to 38 thumbs ups, and Brian will play a cool lick.
It cost you 38 thumbs up. That's it.
Yeah, come on. Let's do it. Let's do it.
100 and he'll play tornado solos.
Tornado.
Tornado solos.
All right, we got 38.
I'm gonna play a lick.
Yeah.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
There you
little
go.
legato there.
Little
I like
dive
it.
bomb.
I like it. Wait.
There you go.
Oh, we got 42 now, so now you got to play 4 more. No, I'm joking. All right. So I know I have a lot of questions, Boner Jams. I apologize.
Do it.
But for you guys in the chat who only know these two guys from Byzantine, if you don't know who this is,
Oh yeah.
let's talk about this for a minute there, Ryan.
All right, sure.
So, yeah, come on, focus, not come on,
There
Yes.
you go. There you go.
Let's talk about Mega Beardo for a minute. Your alter ego.
Sure.
Or wait,
Yeah.
is Ryan your alter ego and Mega Beardo really?
I think it's switched. Yeah, I think I am just Mega Beardo now.
Are you on Mega Beardo on Brazzers or what do we have here?
What's that?
I was saying you're Mega Beardo on Brazzers or Bang Bros or no?
Yes. But yeah, it's something I did. For those that don't know, Mega Beardo is like my side project where I cover like retro video game music and turn it into just ridiculously heavy songs that don't fit video game music much. So I started that about 10 or 11 years ago, and I've released a few records, a lot on Bandcamp, and a lot of it is now on Spotify and iTunes and Amazon and stuff. But what Jay was showing was specifically an album called Belmont, which I did 2011. And it's an original album, concept album based on the first Castlevania game for the Nintendo Entertainment System. So it's for my love of concept albums, like super long songs, like they're, all the songs are 10, 12, 13 minutes. Ridiculous. My wife makes fun of me for it to this day.
Oh, I love that. Keep them coming. Keep them epic.
Yeah, she's like, you can't write a song less than fucking 10 minutes. And I'm like, sorry. Just
Oh yeah.
what I like to do. So yeah, that was something I did and released, and done a couple other things. There's one called Black Ice where I took ice level music from like Mario 3 and the Goonies for the Nintendo and turned it into black metal songs, just dumb stuff like that. So yeah, just something I do on the side for fun. And I did Belmont 2 a couple years ago as well, because after doing the first one, I'm like, well, there's more to tell with this story. Since the second Castlevania game, there it is. Pretty much takes place about 7 years after the first game. So I waited, and this wasn't on purpose, but 7 years later, I released Belmont 2. And it kind of worked out that way. So there will not be a Belmont 3. I promise you that. It was too much work to do the second one. I don't know. It just took a lot out of me this time, but yeah, that's a lot of those songs are in drop A, and I would also do a weird thing where I would drop the first or the top 2 strings of my 7 string, so it would be drop A, drop D, and then all standard. And then I would just mostly play in the drop D range, and then every once in a while go down to the low A if I wanted to get super low for a particular riff. So yeah, if you like super heavy, proggy, nerdy stuff about Castlevania, check those out.
Well, it's definitely cool.
That sounds
Thank
awesome.
You. Thank you.
Check it out.
Because somebody mentioned Ben Tom in the chat says, "Does Ryan like the band The Mini Bosses?"
Oh, I am very, very fond of them and very familiar with them. Yeah.
So
there's
for those who don't know, they basically cover retro video game music, whereas Ryan is a different spin. He kind of makes original music in the right. Like, is that kind of in the?
A lot of it is reinterpretations, but the Belmont stuff is completely original stuff. Yeah. So I just took I basically wrote the lyrics based on the story told in Castlevania. But the other stuff is like loose interpretations of the original music from the games. So,
but I do feel like the music definitely fits the vibe of those games. Like, that's the cool thing about it, in my opinion. It's hard to do that. Yeah,
and it took a while to crack that. Like the first demos I did for that first Belmont album did not sound like Castlevania. They just didn't have that vibe. So it took a long time to kind of weed through all the stuff and try to find it. And that's, it was probably the most challenging part of getting that first record done, was just finding the vibe I was going for. The lyrics kind of flowed because I'm a horror movie nerd, so I can talk Universal Monster stuff all day. So that didn't really take much time. That and just programming drums. That took the most time.
Well, if you ever need help in that area.
Oh, I might now. I heard you can just plug a MIDI cable into your brain and just dump it out in 5 seconds.
Put something into something else.
Yeah, the mini bosses are cool. There's an annual music and gaming fest called MagFest that usually takes place at the beginning of each year, and I've played there a few times. I performed with Vince DiCola, who was the composer for Rocky IV and the 1986 Transformers movie. So I got to perform in his band at that. But yeah, the mini bosses have played there a bunch, and yeah, it's grown from like a very small couple hundred people attending to now I think the last one had 20,000 plus. So it's become a huge thing. They take over the entire Gaylord Convention Center in DC, outside of DC. So
never mind. I thought that was a joke, but it's actually what it's called.
No, yeah, it's called the Gaylord.
All right. No, I'm gonna start laughing. Crap, what the hell? Oh, speaking of Transformers the movie, me and Jimmy were talking about this, was it earlier today, I think? So when obviously everybody's seen it, right? Transformers the movie?
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Jim, the original cartoon.
Yes.
Rodimus Prime. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I still can't, how soon into that did they off Optimus? Like, in my opinion, the movie's over after that.
Yeah, 15 minutes probably. They just start, and they realize that they ran out of toys that they can make out of these characters. So they're like, well, we need more characters to make more toys. So they just start shooting everybody. And
get them out of here. Optimus, we don't need you anymore. See ya.
Yeah.
They crushed a lot of kids' souls that day when they.
Oh my God.
Definitely did.
No, I'm not kidding. When we performed the Death of Optimus Prime theme on stage, you looked out and everybody was bawling. I'm not joking.
These are grown
everybody.
Men. Grown men were bawling.
Oh yeah.
I won't even watch that to this day. That and Toy Story 3. Fuck that.
Wow.
Hey, we have a question from Shiloh. Speaking of concept albums, King Diamond has some pretty cool stuff. What's you guys' thoughts on King Diamond?
I freaking love King Diamond.
Yeah.
Love King Diamond. Andy LaRocque is one of the best guitar players in metal ever. Conspiracy is my favorite King Diamond album. Sleepless Nights. God, I mean, That album it's perfect. The whole thing is perfect. You know, you can't listen to it trying to go to sleep. That's for sure. I was young when it came out, so I'd get my iPod or whatever and like have my headphones in, and, you know, and that would come on and it would like, I would jump out of bed like, oh my God. Please. Oh, scary. But no, man. Oh, Conspiracy is one of my favorite metal albums ever. It really is. So good.
Before we go into Jay and I have a Metallica versus Pantera discussion we want to get into. Ooh. We want you guys' opinion on it as well. Hendo and Ryan, I know, Ryan, you said Mastodon was one of your favorite bands. Yes. Name some of your favorite bands, guys, quickly. Hurry up now.
like of all time, we're talking Soundgarden, Metallica, Primus. Huge Primus fan. Mastodon, Gojira, Between the Buried and Me, Opeth, Old Meshuggah, Strapping Young Lad, Devin Townsend, all that stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Hendo?
Favorite band of all time, Iron Maiden. Not even close. Always has been, always will be. Metallica.
Favorite Maiden album. Hold on. Favorite Maiden album then.
Oof, my favorite Maiden album. Somewhere in Time and Seven Son are like right neck and neck, dude.
Seven Son's mine.
Somewhere in Time right here. Boy.
Most people want to say older stuff, but for me, they reach their composing and their songwriting peak on those two albums, and they're perfect. And those are my two favorites. They're neck and neck. But Metallica, Megadeth, I love Devin Townsend. His solo stuff is amazing. On the lighter side of things, I'm a huge STP fan. Even with the new singer, their last album was so good. Oh my God!
Isn't the singer like James Gunt or something like that?
He came from a talent show or something, didn't he? He got, was it? I'm not sure which one it was, but he sounds a lot like Scott. But my God, that last album they did is so good. I love STP. Always have. I never was a big. Even growing up, like I know OJ is, and maybe I don't have a lot of metal cred. I didn't like branch out into these B and C and D level metal bands. I was never like that kid that, was into like, I don't know, freaking Exodus. I'm not like they're D level or anything, but I don't know. I guess when I listen to some of those bands like that, like some of the outlier bands, I'd put in Master of Puppets, and I'd be like, fuck, God. And then I put their albums in, and it sounded like they were recorded in a bathroom or something. Yes. Like
the production. I agree. The production.
Yeah. I couldn't get past some of it. It sounded so not, and you listen to Metallica, and it sounded like they were recording on another planet. You know what I mean? They were like,
"It just landed, boys. Got the new Metallica record. It just landed.
Recorded in the atmosphere of Venus."
In the same universe as some of these other people were trying to chase them, and nobody could ever catch them as far as their songwriting and how even the production on their records. And I guess that I didn't even know what production was back then, but I guess my ears could still hear it, and I'd, put in a Corner album like, oh, this is cool, but it fucking, it's not Metallica. This is not, So.
Dude, there's so many like old classic metal records that I would remix for free. Just to be like, hey, because they really didn't know how to record that stuff back then. They really didn't. I mean, early 80s, even mid 80s, you hear some of that stuff, and it's like, what were they doing? Not everything was like super locked in and tight. Where I think that's when And Justice for All with the kick drum really set the bar for how like bass drum sounded from that album going forward.
Yeah.
To this day, even. I mean, I know that's kind of over the top, but it really, kind of changed how all that stuff was recorded and mixed.
Yeah, man. I mean, even some of the Testament records, and I love Testament. I love Alex Skolnick. That was, I guess, the last time I talked to you, Jay, is when you and Johnny had Alex on your show.
Yes, that's right.
And he got out the red lipstick, red Ibanez, and I was like, oh my God, that's the guitar, man.
Yeah, I was getting text messages from you and OJ. Dude, that guitar.
Has told me to ask you, and he had it right there. He's like, oh, it's right here. Here, look at it. I was like, oh. That's the guitar. But even some of those Old Testament records, man, they sounded just like really lo-fi, like the older stuff. It was weird.
Yeah, and like you think of like Soul Black, like the transistor radio guitars. Sometimes you're like, oh, let me get that. Send me those files. Come on.
I think
What's the one
right?
record you could remix if you could?
Oh my God, it's probably easy, but it's an album that I love how it sounds. It just has a few things that piss me off, and obviously it's Justice.
I was going to say, don't sing it because
it would be Justice just because of the bass guitar, and in my opinion, the toms are a little, I would kind of scoop them a little bit, make them a little tighter.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll tell you the one album I wouldn't touch if I had all the master tracks to it, all the files. Obviously, I'd load it up to just check everything, but I wouldn't change a thing about it. Is Def Leppard Hysteria?
Oh my! Dude,
Oh,
it's flawless. That album is flawless.
you can't touch that record as far as production. I mean, didn't they say they spent $1 million remixing one track off that one? Was it Rocket or something like that? Well, no, was it? I don't know what song it was, but it said they spent over $1 million mixing one of those songs on that record, dude.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
I remember if you watch the classic albums on that, when they're interviewing them, I think it was Joe Elliott or somebody says that they needed to sell like 5 million copies to break even.
I can't even imagine that nowadays. Jesus,
that's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
that's the equivalent of like you need to have 1 billion streams on Spotify to break even now.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Freaking crazy.
so now is it a comparison time?
It's time. It's time.
Oh, man.
So this is how it works. So Jay and I, one day when I was at his house a couple of years ago, I like doing this. I like comparing things. Like, first of all, I love.
Wait, hold on a second. I was at Jay's house. I like comparing.
We like
things.
comparing
So,
things.
Well, we had our pants on when we did this, so it was a good conversation. But basically, I love Metallica. Who doesn't, right?
Mhm.
But I love Pantera. Like Dimebag Darrell is a god to me, and he's better than Marty Friedman, Jimmy. Anyway, that's a different discussion. But Metallica, the first 5 albums of Metallica, kind of comparing them to the first 5 Pantera albums. So when Jay and I discussed this, and again, I'm more partial to Pantera because I grew up with them. Like a lot of the Pantera albums beat Metallica's to me. So I wanted to discuss a little further, get your guys' opinion. And, obviously all the first 5 albums are great. And we're not even going to get to reload any of that garbage. But Kill 'Em All versus Cowboys. That's
the thing. When you look at it on paper without lining stuff up and going tit for tat,
Right.
it's like, Metallica. But when Brian was having me do this, I was like, oh crap, because me being a huge Metallica fan, but Kill 'Em All is the least listened to out of those first 5, and I love Cowboys from Hell, so I pick Cowboys over Kill 'Em All. What about you guys?
Man, see, I'm a Metallica super freak.
Yeah.
Think about
Man.
it. You take Hit the Lights versus Cowboys from Hell.
Right.
I mean, it's Cowboys from Hell for sure. Like, Hit the Lights was written by a bunch of little squeaky 16-year-old kids, right?
I think Dimebag was 18 when he wrote that riff.
Yeah. And it's just that became. And Hit the Lights was didn't they take the title kind of from Diamond Head maybe, or another new wave of British heavy metal? I don't know. They were just I feel like Metallica with Kill 'Em All was taking the British heavy metal sound and just bringing it over to the States and speeding it up a bit and giving it a little bit of a new flavor. But Pantera, I think, was charting slightly newer ground with Cowboys from Hell, and that opening track from that from that record from Cowboys is like it became their anthem in a way. Like that, you got the logo that Phil has tattooed on his head to this day. So
Did you say sharding or charting?
Charting. Charting. I mean, they could have been sharding. Who knows? They were drinking a lot of Jaeger back then. So
probably.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if we're talking at least the opening tracks, I got to give it to Cowboys.
Right, or like you think of, to me, like Primal Concrete Sledge. That song, that was way before its time. That song is phenomenal. You listen to that now, and it sounds like something you would hear now.
Oh yeah, you got sort of this polyrhythm stuff going on.
There was nothing like I got to jump in here and say, this comparison, I get what you're doing, but like, Kill 'Em All came out in what, 81, and Cowboys came out in
89.
So Cowboys, 90 around there. That's a huge jump in, production and in technology. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've done this. Me and one of the best discussions of music I've ever had in my life was we were in a hotel somewhere on tour, and we did the same thing, but we did it with Megadeth and Metallica, and I think it works a lot better because they almost put out albums simultaneously, against each other. They weren't that far apart, and it was really close from all of us. I mean, really? A lot of them, yeah, dude.
I feel like the first 3 Megadeth albums fall victim to that production
right
that you talked about a few minutes ago.
But you can, I guess my point is those albums were released in the same time frame, the same, headspace. Those Pantera records were 10 years later. That's the only thing I have a problem with that comparison to me, because I don't know. You can tell those Pantera albums, they sound huge. They sound fucking huge, which is awesome. But
well, I'm looking at more just for the songs, or even listen to it live. Yeah. But yeah, like to me, as we were just Cowboys from Hell, definitely over Kill 'Em All to me. But also love Kill 'Em All. I've been like, once Jay and I talked about this, hey, this is what we're going to talk about in the show. And I was saying to Jay earlier, I've been listening to a ton of Metallica in the last couple of weeks, ton. And Kill 'Em All is a great album. It's just Cowboys.
To me, it's like it's Metallica in their infancy. Like Ryan said, they were 16, 17 years old, writing those riffs. And in my opinion, Metallica doesn't really become Metallica till Ride the Lightning. Like that's they
didn't have that Cliff influence yet.
Yeah, and I love going back and listening and picking out the Mustaine riffs because you can hear them.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Fire, and you can hear all the. You're like, that is Dave Mustaine wrote that. He fucking wrote that. He had riffs on Ride the Lightning too. He had stuff on there.
The harmony part. Didn't he write that? Fight Fire with Fire.
Yeah, man. He's all over those records, and I love that fact. It's really cool.
I know. Imagine an alternate universe where like Mustaine stays in Metallica. God, nothing against Kirk, but
yeah,
Mustaine is by far. I mean, obviously the songwriting aspect, but even just like as a guitar player,
it never would have happened, man. Because those Dave Mustaine and they're two alpha males. I mean, they're just they burn so hot. You know what I mean? Like especially Dave, like even if he wasn't hooked on drugs back then and drinking. I think just the kind of person he is, he had to have been a leader of a band at some point.
Yeah.
And thank God he did, man, because we got Megadeth out of it. So
yeah.
All right. So let's get back to Boner Jams. I understand what Brian is saying about they're 8 years, 7 years, whatever. It's almost like a different generation of heavy metal. It kind of is, and I get that. But if you're talking, I mean, I love both bands. So I'm not thinking about, well, this record was produced and, even though that's part of my argument of why I'm not a huge Kill 'Em All fan is because of how it sounds.
Right.
But it's funny. I would choose Cowboys over Kill 'Em All. And Vulgar Display of Power, in my opinion, is top 2 heavy metal album of all time. In my maybe top 3. Top 2, top 3.
Yeah.
Oh,
look at that.
Dude, I had that on on the
original.
record when I was a kid.
Wow.
I saw Jason Robinson.
I've got the record downstairs. Yeah.
It's so cool. I saw this. I've had this for since I was a kid.
So there's some people losing their minds in the chat. So let me clarify a few things. Thrash metal and fun riffs. I'm not talking about production. I'm not talking about quality. I'm talking about the song. So let's say you take Metal Militia or Hit the Lights versus Primal Concrete Sledge or Cowboys or Domination.
Oh, you're talking about taking songs against each other? I'm talking about just overall
No.
album.
I'm taking the overall album, but like to me, like the quality of song from Cowboys from Hell are better than Kill 'Em All. Like Domination, the like halfway through that dun-na-na, dun-na-na, to the solo, it's the shit. I just there's nothing like that on Kill 'Em All. So I'm saying quality of song, not quality of production or anything like that. So that's what I'm
talking about. The entire. Oh, we're going for a little tour here.
I'm getting terrible reception in my studio.
Oh, okay.
So that's good in my living room.
Studio in the living room.
What's that?
You got to move your studio to the living room and put the.
I
the
do
room in that room.
Also, you can at least see my Metallica records back there. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm just going over it. I'm not going song by song. I'm just going overall.
Right.
What I prefer.
Sure. Yeah, I prefer Cowboys over Kill 'Em All. Brian, Hendo, what do you think?
Kill 'Em All, man. Sorry.
So you're 5 for 5 Metallica, aren't you?
Yeah, man. I mean, look, Pantera got to pull from those Metallica records when they were writing that music. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Metallica. I don't know. I think I have a hard time comparing them because there's that generational gap. You know what I mean? That's Pantera had an unfair advantage because they had Metallica in their back pocket. They had all those records that they'd heard. Before they laid that groundwork for all that stuff. So I mean, Metallica didn't. Metallica started that whole thing. Pantera took it in another direction. Metallica started that shit. So I mean, I just I see the comparison, but Metallica all day, man. Sorry, all day.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So Ride the Lightning versus Vulgar. Jay, you Vulgar.
Vulgar. I'm going Pantera. 2-0 so far.
Ryan, Mega Beardo, what do you think?
Vulgar is definitely the best Pantera record too. Holy crap. I don't know. Like when I look at the two, I look at Ride the Lightning, I'm like, well, there's 7 perfect songs with Escape as the outlier.
Death,
I mean, you've got Creeping Death, you've got Fade to Black, you've got Fight Fire with Fire.
You have Call of Cthulhu.
Call of Cthulhu is think about all right, let's go back to the beginning. Metallica came out the gate with Kill 'Em All just as a bunch of angry 18, 19-year-old kids. Pantera took 4 hair metal albums to get to where they got to with Cowboys. So it took them a while to find their groove.
And they are so lucky that the internet wasn't around back then because they would have been.
They would have been. Oh man. Yeah.
Absolutely. They were hair metal, they weren't what they became.
I have to. I'm going Ride. Sorry. I can't imagine being their age and writing something like Call of Cthulhu. I don't know. Or just like Creeping Death, like that middle riff that Kirk did when he was still in Exodus. That's a classic riff.
Oh, isn't one of the guys from Exodus pissed that he took that riff and
Gary Holt?
Gary Holt did.
Yeah, Gary Holt.
It took him 35 years to say it, but yeah.
Yep. Yeah. All right, so I'm Vulgar, obviously over Ride the Lightning. So 2-0 for me, 2-0 for Jay. We don't care about what Byzantine thinks, so we're going to keep moving on to Master versus Far Beyond Driven. So
that's
Jay,
easy.
You go first, Jay.
It's Master of Puppets. Master of Puppets is arguably the best thrash metal album of all time. I mean, it's that's it for me. It's a Pantera, and then it's a clean sweep after. But I mean, Master of Puppets is where I learned, I mean, I don't want to, but that's where I learned my right arm technique for how to down pick and how to play that stuff for like 5 minutes straight, the stamina. So, I mean, Master of Puppets is almost a perfect album. And I know I'm going to ruffle a lot of feathers here. My least favorite song on that album.
Master of Puppets.
No, hell no.
Battery.
No, Battery is
Messiah.
crap. Dude, it's
Messiah. Oh man, dude, what the? Nope. I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that one. That was the song that got me to play guitar in the first place. When
Wow.
when I bought live shit, and when I saw the Seattle '89 video, I was getting my mind like consistently shattered by what I was seeing, and then I saw them play the thing that should not be. For some reason, just seeing that song played live, that heavy slab of shit, I was like, well, now I need to be James Hetfield, because that was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Heavy slab of shit. I love it.
Heavy slab of shit.
A big fat mother effer,
Yeah, there you go.
The song, yep.
Wow. Okay. So I have to say, I'm going to have to go with Master over Far Beyond Driven. But Far Beyond Driven is a fantastic album.
Yeah, it is.
5 Minutes Alone, I'm Broken, Becoming, Planet Caravan, Throes of Rejection. Just
it's
great songs.
Incredible record. Like, I'm Broken is one of the coolest, like, out the gate riffs. Just bow, 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 I don't know.
Yeah, nobody can dispute his riff writing ability, man. He just crushed people with his riffs. But yeah, that Master of Puppets. I mean, there's only you can only put 2 other albums up there with Master of Puppets. You put Rain of Blood, Master of Puppets, Rust in Peace. I think those are the 3 consensus albums that are there as the high mark for thrash metal.
Yeah,
and everything else is just kind of way behind.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just talking about thrash metal, it definitely is it. That and Rust are my 2 tops. It's fun to get people in the chat talking about.
It is, man.
Yeah. All right, let's move on, shall we? Justice.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Before you do that, we got to give Far Beyond Driven some props, because it is the heaviest album to go number 1
of all
That's
time.
true.
of all
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
Of all time.
That is insane.
And like, yeah, if you think about that band and that record hitting number 1 in that era, that's huge.
94, right?
Yeah, I think that was 94.
That was 94.
Like, absolutely.
Yeah, because that's when
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first?
And that's when metal was dying.
Yeah.
There's only one song on that album I can't stand. Like, I love it, but once track 6 pops up, or 5,
yeah. Yep.
What,
Skip.
the Good Friends and a Bottle of
terrible. I hate that song.
Pills. Yeah.
That song actually
Skip it
makes
every
me
time.
feel like dirty. Like, I just have to keep going.
Yeah.
No thanks.
It's just I hear it and I feel hungover. I'm like, done.
What the was it the first line of the song?
Yeah, I don't even. Yeah, come on, let's move on.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm good. So let's move on then. Justice versus Trendkill. So I'm gonna start this because Jay and I talked about this before. When I was in high school or middle school, high school, I didn't like Pantera. I didn't like it because there was a kid that we called Panther who was like dirty. I don't know his real name. Dirty kid. He had like his hair was like molded into like this weird mullet thing. It was just wrong in so many levels. So he always had Pantera shirts, so everyone called him Panther. He was a real nice guy. So I judged the shit out of him, and I'm sorry, Panther. If you're watching this, which I know you're not, I'm sorry.
He's taking you off the list right now and putting lipstick on. Like it's
So I didn't like Pantera until Trendkill came out. And I bought it just because I liked Walk and I liked everything I heard from Pantera. I'm like, I like all this stuff. I don't know why I should listen to them. Trendkill comes out. That's my album. I love Trendkill. Like, that's my favorite Pantera album just because of the time of my life where I was, the songs like Floods, Sandblasted Skin, the last song on that has the weirdest tuning, but that riff, to start the song, shit. You know,
Oh yeah, that's like revs you up. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum,
Yeah.
ba-dum, ba-dum.
And the end with the
Like,
giddy
back
up. Heavy as hell, man.
it is.
Yeah.
I love it in like floods. That solo in it from Dime is just fantastic. So like,
Yeah, that song gives me chills to this day.
like I love that album.
And they're remixing that.
I think they already did.
Well, they already did, but is it out?
Yeah, and Reinventing the Steel is coming out. They're redoing that now. That should be
Oh,
out.
that's
I think,
right. Yeah, I'm sorry, I got them mixed up.
But getting to the comparison, Justice is my top 3 favorite metal albums of all time. Justice, Vulgar, and Iowa from Slipknot are my 3 favorite metal albums of all time. So like, Justice is just godly to me. So I in this comparison, I would have to go Justice.
Wow.
And Jay knows I love me some Trendkill. So
I didn't expect that, but yeah, Justice for me, that's my favorite album of all time. That and 5150 from Van Halen. So it's Justice for me, because it's probably the same. I mean, the same thing. Like the first time you heard, like Trendkill was kind of your introduction to liking them. Well, you heard them before,
right?
But you didn't really think about it. Like Metallica, it's the same thing. Like my cousin Sean got a Justice cassette and Hysteria cassette for Christmas the same Christmas he got Nintendo with Castlevania, Mega Beardo.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
I remember sitting in his room all Christmas Day listening, just flipping the tapes. And just one time, because I was like trying not to like it. Trying not to like it. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like that. And then one time we flipped the tape over and Shortest Straw kicked in. And I'm like, oh my God, I like it. I gotta dub this. So I brought the tape home, dubbed it. And that's to me, that's the best album. But you guys go now.
It is to me too. That's my favorite. It is my favorite Metallica album. For one, I'll give you a story. When I was 12 years old, Metallica came to Charleston on the Damaged Justice tour, and that was my first concert I ever went to. Me and my best friend Neil Smith, my parents dropped us off there at the Civic Center by ourselves. 12 years old, said, "Go have fun."
Damn.
Yeah, it was the greatest day of my life. It really was, man. I was so close to James Hetfield, I could see like the acne in his freaking cheeks. He was playing Eat, Fuck, Explore, and I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
The greatest thing I've ever seen, and the statue coming down, playing Injustice for All, and just James, they wheeled out a cart of Coors Lights and cups, and he was chugging them and throwing them out in the crowd. And, I was like, I want to play guitar now. This is so. From that day forward, I mean, I was a Metallica nut. So that to me is my favorite Metallica album. Just because of that, it made such an impression on me.
Yeah.
And I didn't discover Pantera until I was in my 20s, probably close to 20, because it was 10 years. It was that much later, and I guess they didn't have the same effect on me as Metallica did. Because when you're that 12, 13, 14, whatever you hear then has the biggest effect on you. Not when you're in your 20s, not when you're 30s. It's those teen years. That's the stuff that really stays with you. So,
like, it changes everything. It's the same thing with me. Like once, I grew up with Van Halen and Rush, but it really was like that when I got into heavy metal with Metallica and Anthrax and stuff like that. That's when it was like, whoa, what is going on here? Like that energy,
Yeah.
The Justice story.
I'm Justice. I gotta be the riffs. Like Blackened is one of the best metal riffs of all time.
It's maybe the best metal song ever.
If not the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to think that's what Newstead was like. All right, I'm joining your band. Here's a riff.
I love that story.
Take it. Yeah.
James walked over to his apartment. He's like, "I got a riff to show you," and he played the dun, 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 and James is like, "Yeah, I think you're gonna be okay." I mean, dude, James didn't even write that riff, which I never knew that until like a couple years ago. I was like, "You got kidding me?" Wow, that's just amazing.
Yeah.
He just on the band.
Right. Also, too, I think if you were going to play someone one song that they're like, I don't know what heavy metal is, play me one song. It's one. One is the quintessential metal song of all time, I think.
Could be. Yeah. I mean, because you've got, you're getting all corners of metal in that one. You've got the sort of, I guess, the ballad part of it, the sort of classical guitar pieces in between the verses and the choruses, and then this major middle section of just these syncopated. And Metallica doesn't do that often, where they sing those in the bass with the kick drum. A lot of riffs that I think could use that to their advantage, but Lars just chooses not to do it. But he was smart, or somebody was smart, and said, "Hey, match what I'm playing with your kick, and this is going to be killer." And then just 3 minutes of just pure chaos after that. So. Yeah,
wasn't the idea for that riff and the syncopation like to kind of like signify kind of like gunfire, like
machine gun,
machine gun fire or something, right?
Yeah,
like that's the cool thing, because when you think of that and you hear that song, and especially when you watch the video, it kind of hits you, man. Like when you actually think, like when James, I know a couple years ago they did the 30th anniversary kind of like interview where they all talked about like what was going on. And when James talks about like how he came up with the lyrics for that, like his brother sent him the movie or something, or the book. And like when he understood, like this guy, going to war, getting like everything blown. He's just basically a body with a head that can't see, can't talk, can't hear. It's like the loneliness and just like all that stuff. And when you kind of understand that and then read the lyrics with it, and it's like, holy crap, man!
That video, the long form video they put out, I remember watching that, dude, and it creeped me out, man. It really did.
Yeah,
it was like,
to this day it does.
And those guys, I was watching a bootleg show. I think I talked to you, Ryan, about this. It was the last show on the Damage Justice tour, and Lars, the drum tech, had a Super 8. And did you watch this, Jay? Lars' drum tech had a Super 8 and recorded the whole show from different vantage points. And it's so awesome. And, you forget those guys were like 24 years old when they were doing that tour and that album. What was I doing when I was 24? I wasn't writing Injustice for All. I was doing freaking keg stands in Marshall University.
I was writing home insurance policies and discussing life insurance. Yeah.
I mean, good Lord, man. And those guys got good really quick. I mean,
yes, they did.
My goodness.
Yeah, that one video, and I don't know if you guys ever seen it, Happiness and Slavery by 9 Inch Nails. Those are the two creepiest videos ever.
I don't know if I remember that.
I don't know if I've seen that one, to be honest.
Watch it alone, because you will feel weird. Anyway, let's move on. So I think we're good with Justice on that. So
now you're talking about Justice.
So let's go to Black Album versus Reinventing the Steel. So I have one issue with Black Album. One. It just wasn't, it's not Metallica that I knew for the first 4 albums. It's a great album, obviously. Jay will talk about production for 15 minutes. When he does, I'll walk around. But it's and there's obviously great songs. Sandman, Said But True, whatever, Unforgiven. They're great. But I haven't listened to the Black Album in full in like 15, 20 years. I don't. It's a great album, don't get me wrong. And it's done so much for metal music and for our community. But I don't love it. I don't. But Reinventing the Steel, let's talk about that.
Go ahead, because you might be in the minority here, my friend.
Obviously, the Black Album has to win, right? I don't think we can even, it's not really a discussion. But from a metal perspective, Revolution Is My Name is one of the best songs to me that Dimebag ever wrote. The riffs in that song, the solo, it's just phenomenal. The middle part, that dun 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 dun, amazing. Hellbound, the first song on the album, was great. Also, too, one of my favorite Pantera songs of all times is "Immortally Insane." It's a bonus track that'll be out. And Jay, you never heard it until a couple of years ago. I told you to play it. You're like, all right, I'll check it out. And you're like, I love it. And that's like one of the only times I've ever told you to listen to something that you actually really enjoyed.
Wow,
So
I'll have to go back and listen to it because I forget. But
it's got
if I said I loved it, it must have been good.
it's got a dope ass riff at the beginning. It's phenomenal.
Well, like Brian said, man, Dimebag never had a problem writing amazing riffs.
No.
You know? But my opinion on that album is kind of like, because I saw Pantera on that tour, and I think you did too, Brian, right? The Civic Center, or did you not go to that?
No, I had
right.
my final that night, and I decided to be responsible, like always, and went and took my test.
But I just felt like, looking back, especially, I think a lot of us know that Pantera was kind of, well, not Pantera, but Phil. The disconnect was already there. It was almost over, and in my opinion, his voice was already completely blown out. Like at that concert, I don't know if you guys saw them on that tour, but towards the end of the show, Dimebag started playing the beginning of Cemetery Gates, and Phil kept yelling out, "How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it?" And the place was, going friggin' bananas. He said, "You don't want it bad enough," and then they stopped playing, and everyone was like, "What? Are you kidding? You can do that. Don't even tease it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Don't even, just ignore that you even wrote that song." I was pissed. So it's Black Album for me.
Yeah, I gotta give it the Black Album. Like,
yeah,
Reinventing is pretty. It's a decent record. Not my favorite Pantera. Like you said, you can even just listening to it, you can hear the disconnect there between Phil and the guys. Like it just didn't sound like a cohesive band anymore. But yeah, that Revolution Is My Name. I remember when I first downloaded that song, and I guess it would have been in 2000. It probably was from Napster. To bring Metallica into this, but yeah, when I first heard that middle riff and all those weird pinch harmonics and that cowbell, I'm like, all right, yeah, this is Pantera. This is classic Vinnie Paul and Dime stuff. So
little Pantera note.
I remember guitar
guys ever sucks.
Yeah, I know.
Never got to see him, man. However,
I didn't either.
On the last, I went and saw the Slayer farewell tour 3 times, and I saw the last leg where Phil was there opening the show with the Illegals, and even though it was just him,
he was doing Pantera stuff, right?
Yeah, it was all Pantera. It was all, and it was really cool to get to see him do those tunes, even though he was the only one up there. It was really cool to see. It was fun. It was really fun. He was having a good time. You could tell, man. He was like, we're doing this for you guys. It was a cool experience to see that. So
nice.
I got to see that.
Man, I don't know. I just feel like the Black Album, I mean, it's definitely probably my 3rd favorite Metallica album.
Black Album?
Yeah. I think Ride the Lightning would be higher on the list if it sounded a little, it's still, especially the drums to me, and they never really got the bass. Well, then again, Justice barely has any bass guitar. But I don't know, like Ride the Lightning kind of falls victim, like we talked about earlier, with that, like kind of, they didn't really know what they were doing, even though it still sounds good. It's not like it's a bad sounding record, but the Black Album just sonically, man, it just, Bob Rock, you can't argue with what he was doing during that era. And really, like the song, the mix and the production fit the songs and vice versa.
Sure.
You couldn't have that mix on Master of Puppets. You couldn't have that mix on, like, that's I think the cool thing about that album is like it all works together for what it did.
That's not a thrash metal mix. That's a Motley Crue mix. That's
you couldn't have thrash riffs and fast double bass and bum, 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 bum. It would just.
That's arena mix. Man. Didn't Lars take Dr. Feelgood to Bob Rock and say, "This is what I want."
I think so.
Then he said tune down, right?
Then
he said tune down because everything that they wrote prior to Black Album was in standard tuning.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple songs that they tuned down on the Black Album. You're right. Yeah. Remember the was it the interview with Bob Rock? Like he asked him when he heard all the demos for the Black Album. He said, why is every song in the key of E? And James goes, because that's the lowest note. But that's the cool thing. Like Metallica was already balls deep into their career.
Mhm.
Before the Black Album came out, they were still huge, you know?
Oh yeah, they were enormous before the Black Album even hit.
Yeah.
And they were still just kind of clueless as to, you know, which doesn't really make any sense, but you know.
Yeah, I
If
think
they
that was
only
the only. I was going to say that's the only record of theirs I can think of. Like, thing that should not be was tuned to D standard. I think All Justice was E.
It was.
Black Album, you had E. You had D standard for Sabbath True. I think Don't Tread on Me was E flat, and I think God That Failed was E flat. So you had multiple songs on there with multiple tunings. Then Load was like all E flat, so they just kind of stayed there at that point. So I think Black Album was also weird, and that's probably the Bob Rock influence, is being like, all right, use the tuning to fit the, you know, the style of the song and try to, you know, make the song better getting outside of that key. Because I think the original Sabbath True demo was an E.
It was.
And
And it was like
faster, too.
it's
right?
like 20 BPM faster, just yeah,
Yeah, when you
it
hear it,
sounded
like,
goofy.
It's like a
But we don't talk about Load on this channel here. We're going to keep moving on.
underrated.
think of Load. If Load didn't come out by Metallica, if a different band had written that album and put it out, it would be a great hard rock album. But it's the fact of like you had a band that gave you Master of Puppets and Justice and the Black Album and Ride the Lightning and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden they completely change, and you're like,
Give me fuel.
like what happened? You know?
Yeah.
People grow, man, get old, and they can't keep writing the same stuff, man. And it happens to everybody. It really does. I can't fault them for it. I mean,
I can.
yeah, I just I don't know, man. I'm cool with it. There's some strong songs on those records, man. I mean, I think they're underrated. There's some Outlaw Torn.
Oh, dude, yeah, you.
Thorn's one of their
There
best
are.
songs.
It's just when you set that bar
Yeah,
so high where you can't
just
even
a weird contrast. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
you can never reach it again. I mean, maybe that was part of Lars' thinking, because wasn't it kind of his idea to go in a different style of writing?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think they couldn't get any bigger than what they were. So I think they were just like, well, let's just try something new.
Yeah.
So
I
Hendo,
even like
so Metallica Metallica's your favorite band, right?
No, Iron Maiden is my favorite band.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like Metallica could do no wrong in your eyes, right?
No, they did Lulu, and that's a joke. No, they can be wrong. They can.
The reason I say there's like Slipknot's my all-time favorite band, and they can put out anything, and I'm like, oh, that's great.
Right.
So like I'm biased, or like you know, Korn. Like when you were saying before, when I was 14, or 13, when the first Korn album came out, like that's the best. You know?
Man. That stuff that comes out at that age.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because you're changing as a person and you're coming into, semi-adulthood and your emotions are going crazy, and that stuff sticks with you more than anything. I mean, it really does. That's why it'll always be special to you, no matter what band it is. That's what's awesome about music.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we not this past week, in the previous weekend, I'm a coach for my son's baseball team, and we were talking about music. So we had to drive an hour away, and I played him the first Korn album from front to back.
Oh, yeah.
He never listened to it, and I'm like having goosebumps as I'm driving. He's like, "You nervous about the game?" I'm like, "No, do you hear the song? This is great."
Shut up! Did you listen to it?
Awesome.
Yeah, dude, when you see your kids enjoy something that you dig, or especially music. I mean, I took my son to see Kiss when he was 4, and I got tears in my eyes, man, because I looked over and Paul Stanley's coming on a wire down. There's glitter going in fire. His eyes are like, oh my god! And I looked, and he was just like mesmerized, and like I had tears in my eyes. Like he's 4 and he gets it. He gets it. It's so special. It's so awesome.
It's the best.
It is. And Jay, you'll get to experience that at some point, man. Which is
Dude, I'm already experiencing. I mean, Ellie will be 4, in what, 3.5 weeks, but her favorite band is Crazy Licks. Like all she wants to do is watch the singer from Crazy Licks put on the Jason mask and sing the song XIII. She just loves it. I get it. It's cool. But then Brian, you got me thinking like, crap, she's going to hate all this stuff when she hits like 12, 13 and find some other stuff to listen to. I'm like, damn it. I should have saved all this stuff.
Yeah.
She'll love it growing up. Just like my mom always played the Beatles, always when I was a little kid. So I love the Beatles now just because the influence from my mom. So, yeah. No, she'll be all right. Don't worry. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Brian, when you were saying that one time, I was with my son and we got to meet Stone Sour. So Corey Taylor, is I just want to give him a hug, right? But luckily I'm with my son, so he kept my composure. So I'm like, hey, what's up, Corey? Like he's like my boy, and all I want to do is hug him and like thank him for everything. But it's so I have a picture with the band and Brody, and I was taking that picture. I'm glad no one asked me to talk because I was like gonna cry, and it's I was with Jimmy, Jay's brother-in-law, and we went to go see Slipknot. We're backstage, and Jim Root is my favorite like living guitarist, and he comes out, and I'm like 5 feet from Jim Root, and Jimmy's like, go talk to him. I'm like, I can't. I don't know what to say. Like, I don't want to say something dumb, and then he's gonna think I'm a tool. And then just leave, and it'll just shatter me, and I'm a grown man, and I'm like really worried about what I'm going to say to this guy, and I'm stuttering. And I talk to people all day. I give presentations. I talk in front of people all the time. That was tough for me, and I had tears in my eyes because I just want to tell him how important he is to me, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird to get to be put in that situation. Because what do you say? I mean. I know, because then next thing you know, you say something stupid and they're like, all right, man.
Yeah. Like, okay, see you later.
Yep.
Yeah, I did meet Metallica a couple years ago, and that was just like, it was super, like, I don't know. It's like, what do you even say? Like, where do you even start?
It was so cool. James, and you're a pretty big dude, and you were standing by James, and he was just.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm 6'1", 6'2" on a good day, and James is like, still a couple inches taller. I mean, like, he's just larger than life. It's crazy.
And apparently, Lars said our band's name. So
yeah. So
he came out of Lars's mouth is enough for me.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, we're because it was at the time. Yeah, at the time we were like
the band Byzantine. Maybe we can bring him on the road. James.
I know that Lars has this like super weird, like accurate memory. So I'm like, if I just plant that in his brain, it'll stay there. And one of these days he'll hear it and be like, I met that guy at Pittsburgh in October, whatever, 2018. Yeah, it was like when we were getting ready to. Byzantine was, I don't know if I can say this, but we're going to be touring for a couple weeks in Europe, and I guess the summer of 2019 didn't happen, fell through. But I told Lars, I'm like, hey, just real quick, just wanted to thank you for all the inspiration, blah blah blah. We're on, I'm in a band called Byzantine, and we're on Metal Blade. And he's like, oh, Metal Blade, talk to my friend Brian Slagle, and he's an old friend of mine. I'm like, yeah, I kind of figured you guys go way back. And he's like, so Byzantine, huh? I'm like, yeah. And it seems like we'll be in Europe in July. And he's like, oh, cool. We'll be in Europe around the same time. Hopefully Metallica and Byzantine will run into each other. I'm like, oh, that'd be great. And it's like, just like my mind was just melting. I'm like, I don't, jeez. Yeah. And Lars is like 5 foot tall. And it's just like, I don't know. So talking to him first and then James after, it's just huge contrast.
And they had Axe Effects backstage with their guitars back there. So you got to in and play James's Explorer, right into a freaking Axe Effect.
Yeah. So they had each members. What's that?
How was James' guitar set up?
That particular one, like tuning and everything, or how did it just feel?
Just how did it feel like? Was the action close? Was it violent action?
Oh, no, the action was super, super low. It felt great. Like you could basically, each station had an iPad set up to where you could just select an album and select a song, and you can play along to it. Like they had all their patches on their Axe effects, and so I just sat there and I played Master of Puppets all the way along. As far as I could.
That's
the thing, like everybody wanted to like pose with them. Nobody actually wanted to play them, so I was the only one just sitting there actually playing each one.
I wouldn't like. Oh my god! I want to pick James's guitar in front of him and play Master of Puppets. You got some cojones on you, dude, for doing.
No, Brian, you would have been like, "This is how you played it on the record, James. You don't play this before, bro." Oh man. Well, we've been on for almost 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Before we wrap it up, do you guys want to discuss anything else? Obviously, plug whatever you're doing. Plug the new video. I'm gonna pull up the link. Is it on YouTube? It's on YouTube, right?
Yes, yeah, it is. Yeah, Nick Menza's account has it uploaded.
Okay, I'm gonna put that in the chat while you guys wrap this up. If you want to do whatever.
Cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Endo.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, check out the link Jay's posting. It's our Megadeth tribute we did with Nick Menza. Tornado Souls. Go check it out. Super proud to have been a part of that. I think we got a text from Nick Menza's sister. Man, if I can remember what she said, but she said after she saw the video, they've just been telling themselves that Nick's been on tour for 4 or 5 years. They didn't know, instead of him passing away. And seeing that video gave her the sense that he's still out there playing. And so that was like totally worth it to me to hear her say that, they still feel like Nick's out there doing a thing because they could see him playing with us. So that was really special. So if you guys haven't checked it out, go check it out. Yeah, man, we had a great time on it.
So one thing that we do, hold on, Jay.
Okay.
Wait for me. So the one thing that we do at the end of the show, we have we give everyone homework, so some songs to listen to, like a song or two. So Hendo, give everyone a song that you've been listening to lately, or you want someone to check out.
Okay, are you into synthwave at all? Like 80s
shred wave or just synth wave?
No, does it have to be metal? Does it have to be metal?
No. Well, it's a metal show, so that'd be good. But you can do whatever you want.
Well, okay, I won't go there. It's a metal show. Gosh, a metal song I've been listening to lately. You got to come back to me, dude. You asked me too quick.
All right.
Yeah, I got to think of something.
All right, Jay. Do you have one?
I'm gonna have to pass too for a minute. Okay, I got one.
Man.
It's a whole album. All right. I'm gonna pull it up on my Spotify so you can see the cover. But the band's name is Burst. All right. So
I'll write these down. Burst.
The band, the name is Burst, and the album is called Lazarus Bird, and it came out in 2008. And it is it's one of those albums where, like, when I first heard it, I was like, do I like this? Oh shit, I like this. And then it became one of those albums where I couldn't stop listening to it for like months and months and months. Even my wife after a while was like, you got to stop listening to that. I can't take it anymore. So definitely check out the band Burst. The album is called Lazarus Bird.
Okay. Cool. You said Burst, Lazarus Bird?
Yep.
I'll put up in the Discord in the metal section for us.
Okay. I've got one. I'll preface this by saying I'm into this synthwave band they're called Gunship. And if you like 80s, think 80s synth music, video games, old school, like it's house music, but it's totally 80s. It's freaking yes, so cool, man.
There's a song called Tech Noir. Now, is that from Terminator?
No, that's their big tune. It's killer. It's about a nuclear explosion, nuclear holocaust. It's really cool. Oh. But they also have a metal band, and they're called Fight Star. and they have a song called Sharp Tongue. So the band is Fight Star. The album is called Behind the Devil's Back. It's the first track on the album called Sharp Tongue. Check it out. It's Fight Star.
Hendo, do you like Depeche Mode, New Order, that type of stuff as well?
Love Depeche Mode, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah, hell yes, son.
Yeah. Yes. I'm a huge 80s. I mean, we cover in Byzantine. We mostly cover 80s stuff, mainly because I'll force it on OJ. So yeah. That's it out there, man. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, I love 80s music. That's besides metal, I listen to 80s all day.
Man, I probably listen to 80s more than I listen to metal, actually. That's hard to do.
So Mega Beardo, I want to hear you're listening to Mega Beardo a lot, right?
Oh yeah, all the time. Actually, what I was listening to today, along with some Alice Cooper for whatever reason, I was just in an Alice Cooper mood, but I'm not going to recommend that. I'm going to recommend a band called Temple. I don't know if you get on that. On the Steps of the Temple is the name of the album.
I got some music to listen to today.
There it is.
Cool.
On the Steps of the Temple. So I think they were or are on Prosthetic. I don't really hear them talked about much. My friend Eric got me onto that band a couple years ago, and they're like super sludgy sort of. They have, I guess, a bit of a black metal influence, but just super sludgy, riffy, instrumental metal to get me in sort of like I don't know, just that type of mood. If I'm into just something to have on that's just heavy as balls, there's no vocals to kind of get in the way. I just want to hear some heavy riffs. That's a really good band to get into. I think they only have 2 records too. I think they had one out in 2014 and I think in 2015. I don't think anything since that I've seen anyway. But
Sweet.
Super cool band.
Cool. Good. Well, I'll give 2 of mine. Well, since Brian was discussing 80s, I'm gonna have to go there. True Faith by New Order is one of my favorite 80s songs ever. So check that out. Because New Order was Joy Division, right? And then the singer passed away. But True Faith by New Order, that's a phenomenal song.
Did Love and Rockets come out of that band too? I'm pretty, didn't they? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then so we'll go to metal. One of my favorite bands is Taproot. So there's a song called Myself. It's off their second album. Gives me the feels. Check it out. Myself by Taproot. Jay's favorite band. And then I'm going to give 3. You know why? I feel like Oprah. I'm going to give an extra one to you guys. You guys have been such a great audience tonight. Sandblasted Skin by Pantera. If you have not heard that song, if you're about to go to bed, don't listen to it. That song will pump you up. You might want to fight someone. That song is fantastic. Check that out.
Sweet.
Well, I just put the link in the chat again, and I'll do it right before we leave. But I guess we got to. Well, thank you guys. Number one, from OJ. OJ didn't want to do tonight, and I'm still. But Brian and Ryan, thank you so much for doing
Absolutely.
this.
Man, it was fun.
That was great. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, thank you.
And definitely keep an eye out for and I'll give updates. I mean, I kind of, on the regular shows that we do with me and Johnny or whatever.
Yeah.
If I'm doing a record or something, I'll talk about it. So I'll definitely be promoting the EP when you guys are, sending me the files for everything, and then obviously when it comes out. So I'll be pushing 2 on my end.
You're your 5th birthday, and you always will be. So yeah.
We'll have you back too. We'll have you back.
What?
So we'll have them back.
Oh, really? No, I'm joking. Of course.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Definitely appreciate it. John, if you want to bring up the executive producers of the show.
Everybody, check out Byzantine's social media. Not that they're very active on social media, because check them out anyway.
We try.
All right, here we go. Thank you to our channel members: Green Charles, Fruitcake Tony, Michael Smith, David Ennis, Mike Neese, Mickey Settlemeyer, Joe Christian, Nicole Mrazek, Sean Bolin, Garguts Entertainment, Sean Silas, Margaret Scranton, Positive Flag, Julia Baldessari, Bozique, Crazy Cook. Every time I look at it, I always think it's Crazy Cock, but it's Crazy Cook 678, Lenny Lou, Richard Poole. And then we have Hal Face, James Gum. Mancuda is a beep, 802 Blues, Mr. BHB Jr., Frag 5150, Pal Guitars, Frank Cochran, Steve Carmichael, Jesus Villador, Jim Nicholas, Hugh Caldwell, Ghost BC Rich, Music Therapy Laz, Fender Guru, my man Brian Spalding, and Thomas Santiago. Had to drop some Spanish for you guys. You're welcome.
Wait, do that again. May have to try one of those out, man.
Dude, they're killer. They're very affordable.
It's sweet.
Definitely sweet. I'll buy one.
Brian Henderson model. You got to talk to Ola. You already need your own model. You already sell them. People are already wanting to buy them because you got it.
Definitely. Our next show will be the end of October, right before Halloween. So it'll be the 28th of October. So we'll see everyone then. And hit the thumbs up, not thumbs down. Subscribe. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Don't leave yet. You guys stay here.
Stay.
Okay.
We'll see you on the other side. Everybody have a great rest of the week. And we'll see you Friday.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.